Okay, the time is now 4 p.m. Today is a combined Physical Service Committee and Ways and Means Committee meeting. It is now Tuesday, January 27th, 2026, 4 o'clock. Please note the Physical Services Committee meeting is canceled yesterday, Monday, January 24th, due to extreme snow event. The agenda items from the Physical Services that require legislative attention are included in this agenda. So it will be designated as a letter on our agenda. The Ways and Means will be designated as a Roman numeral. So call to order. Would you please silence your cell phones and electronic devices? I'm going to ask you to stand for the pledge, but also to remain standing for a moment of silence to acknowledge International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
If I may, just for clarity, this is actually just the Ways and Means Committee meeting. Physical Services was canceled yesterday, so this is not a special combined meeting, just for clarity for individuals that may be watching.
Okay. Thank you for clarification. Can I have the roll call?
Yes. Carter. Present. Cheney.
Here.
Eller.
Here.
Fagion.
Here.
Hunter.
Here.
Ramos. Here. Sassy.
Here.
Hogan.
Here.
Scott.
Here. Thank you. All right, the first thing we have on our agenda, we have Lori Tautel, Chairwoman of the Orange County Legislature. She has a resolution appointing members of the Orange County Sewer District Number 1 Advisory Committee, a special committee for the Orange County Legislature. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Fagion and Hunter?
Yes.
All in favor?
Discussion.
We-
Afternoon, everybody.
I'm trying, you know, I'm pushing the consensus. All right.
So the special committees have to be reappointed every year via resolution of the legislature to create them to start the meetings. The sewer district has been ongoing for 6 years now. This will be the 7th year. They have made, and I sit on that committee, a lot of great headway in addressing the issues that we have at our sewer plant, and is at a critical phase where last December, we just approved the bond resolution for the upgrades and for the expansion of capacity. So that opens us up to be able to apply for different grants and different low interest and zero interest funds. This committee is overseen by the Physical Services Committee, and the chair of Physical Services, Barry Cheney, also sits on the sewer committee. Anybody have?
Any
I have
questions?
A list of the appointees are Peter Chili as the chair, Matthew Turnbull, Barry Cheney, Glenn Ellers, Mike Essig, myself, and Michael Lama.
Anyone have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, number 1 on the agenda, we're going to have Richard B. Golden, Esquire, County Attorney. He is requesting to approve the release of the county's interest in and to certain deed sale parcels to the previous owners of record. A final list will be submitted to the legislative meeting. This is legislative request 005. We have a motion?
Second.
Rick Ramos and Carter.
Thank you. Good to be here. Welcome all the newly elected. This particular request is, the county has had a long history of trying to keep property owners in their own property, not try to take them away unnecessarily when they don't pay their taxes. We started an action, go through a lot of other procedures, but eventually started an action to take the property. But if the property owner, any time prior to it being sold and a judgment being issued by the court, pays their back taxes and interest and penalties, then there's a local law this body passed back in 2001, restated in 2010, that among many other things in that local law allows the county to release its interest, the county attorney to release its interest in the property that we have acquired, give it back to the property owner. When we do that, it has not erased any of the liens or judgments or anything else that may be against the property. So it's released as it was when we asserted our interest in that. And so the property just continues on its way. So we're not giving anybody a free ride. We're also returning the property to the owner, and they have now paid their taxes up to that point in time with interest and penalties. Today, there is only one parcel. It's a parcel in Mount Hope. It's in your materials of Patricia Shea. And there were taxes due and owing on it. She has now paid those along with interest penalties. And now we are asking that this body go ahead and allow the release of the county's interest. And we would then, my office would then take that to the court and ask the court to release this particular property from the current action that is foreclosing on others that have not paid.
Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Hunter?
Is this a residential property?
I believe it is, but I don't have the particulars on that. Somebody from the,
I'm curious, was this woman able to stay in her home if it was a residential property, or is
I
this?
mean, during, up until now, you mean? Yeah, we don't take over anything and evict people.
So the deed just goes to the county in a situation like
Eventually,
this?
eventually it would go to the county
Mhm.
if we got the judgment. So we go before court, start a court action, including all the people that have not paid theirs. We have this action has been pending now for a long time. This property is within. If she's been able to stay in that house, we haven't taken anybody that's affected by this. We haven't
Okay.
forced them out, residential or commercial. But if they pay it prior to that judgment being entered, then and the property being sold, then this law allows us to release our interest in that property, and they now continue to be owners of that. But we haven't taken
So this
ownership
is
of
more
it.
releasing of a judgment versus like,
No, it's not a judgment yet, so it's
But it-
just an interest. So it's releasing of the county's interest. We have an interest that the law gives us when we start this foreclosure proceeding. But we don't ownership until that court issues a judgment, and the court has not yet issued a judgment.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All of those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great, motion carried.
Thank you very much. One other thing, it
Yes,
does
sir.
say in the resolution or in the description here,
Yes,
a final list will be submitted.
yes,
This is the final list now. Obviously, if there might be something later on, and I'll leave it to your counsel to advise you, I think it probably could be brought up at the final meeting, but it would have to be brought up as a consent resolution
okay,
since it has been passed here. This is the final list as of today.
thank you.
Thank you. That wraps.
All right, next on our agenda, we have Eric Benega, Commissioner, Department of Public Works, Robert Gray, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Public Works, Environmental Facilities and Services, Joseph Mahoney Esquire, Senior Assistant County Attorney. Again, this is a request to amend and restate local law number 7 of 2006 and to modify section 2.2 to add definitions of restricted contract user and unauthorized out-of-district user, to add sections 3.10 and 3.11 pertaining to violations of the Orange County Sewer Use Law, and to clarify the applicability of the sewer use law. This is legislative resolution 010. I have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Legislator Cheney, second.
Second that.
President.
I'm the administrative head of the sewer district, but I will pass this over to Joe Mahoney for his legal advice and explanation of the change, proposed changes to sewer district.
Thank you. My name is Joseph Mahoney. I'm a senior assistant county attorney under Rick Golden, the county attorney. The county has a few special districts that provide specific service. Here, we have the Orange County Sewer District Number 1, which was created in 1970 and was designed to provide sewer service to a specific geographic area. Over the years, the service area of the district has increased due to out of contracts that the district or the county has entered into with outside users. The geographic areas of the district include the Village of Harriman, Village of Monroe, Village of Kiers Joel, and portions of the town of Monroe. The county has entered into contracts to provide sewer service with the Village of Chester, Town of Chester, Village of Woodbury, Village of South Blooming Grove, and again, different portion of the town of Monroe. The sewer district rules and requirements are outlined within the Orange County sewer use law. Now, that includes the enforcement, the ability to enforce the provisions of the sewer use law. And here, the request before you, before the legislature is to add sections 3.10 and 3.11. This will allow enforcement against those who are restricted contract users. What that means, a restricted contract user means any entity that's outside the district that has within its agreement a specific allocation or specific gallons per day that can be discharged into the county sewer system. Sewer system being all the pipes and manholes, everything right down to the Harriman treatment. All right, that would allow any entity, the requested modification, that exceeds its allocation, exceeds the gallons per day that it's authorized to discharge, that any exceedance would constitute a violation of the Orange County sewer use. Similarly, section 3.11 would allow any entity that's outside the district that discharges into the district counties, the county sewer system without a contract, without authorization, to be in violation of the Orange County sewer use law. That generally will come up with, and if we have a contract, the district has a contract with an individual or an entity and that contract terminates, if they continue to discharge into the county sewer system, that's what will come up. Now, the reasons for these two requests specifically is one is they are required by the Clean Water Act. The Clean Water Act, federal legislation requires the district, all districts or all operators of certain plants to be able to enforce contracts with those outside of its geographic borders. And that's what these two entities, are required to do. These proposed amendments are seeking to do. Also, it allows the administrative head the ability to enforce against any entity that has a contract with the county and exceeds its agreement in terms of allocation or gallons, to take those steps necessary, that he believes necessary, to enforce, to push back and say, that's not your allocation, that belongs to those within the district itself. There's also a request. The request would be a modification of the term user in the agreement to person in the agreement. As you'll see, especially in the enforcement section, which is Article 12, user is utilized. Now, that's a fairly broad term, and it includes any person, entity that contributes or causes the contribution of wastewater into the county sewer system. That is fairly broad, but the proposed modification would change that to person, which does not mean an individual like we're sitting here today. It would mean, essentially, it incorporates any individual, you actually get it, so I'm misquoted. Any individual, corporation, political subdivision, government agency, municipality, industry, co-partnership, association, firm, trust, state, or any other legal entity whatsoever. The requested modification is, again, to allow enforcement against any person that violates the Orange County sewer use law in any manner. And to avoid any argument in the future that, well, I'm not necessarily a user, which, again, I think that this is an easier approach in terms of ensuring that the Orange County sewer use law is complied with, to ensuring compliance. All right, and the fourth category of changes are general changes that throughout the Orange County sewer use law, specifically capitalizing mistakes, misspellings, putting in spacing between words if there was missing, numerical changes, we're spelling out one, open parentheses, one. So that's it. So those are the proposed changes that we're seeking resolution for today, which will hopefully be submitted to the full legislature.
I just want to add too that Mr. Mahoney also presented to the Rules Committee last week, which also passed.
And I want to thank you so much for, you really clarified it even more for me. I was there at the rules and I wasn't grasping and went back and I read more. And I really thank you for your efforts today. Any questions?
Yes, I do have one question. So how are we coming along with the draft outside user allocation with respect to the new $3 million gallon expansion project?
The new,
So outside users, what
Yes.
is going to be the allocation for the outside users of the 3 million gallon expansion?
I don't think there's been a decision made with regard to the specific allocation that will exist under the new agreement.
I think that needs to be decided before we start changing laws.
Well, the current agreement has a specific allocation. All
I
right,
understand that, but we have 3 million gallons being added, and none of my constituents in Chester, they need more capacity, and no one knows how much we're gonna get, if any.
I think a lot of that's going to become with IMAs that are going to be renegotiated to the point. I think this change in the sewer use laws is very independent of any allocations that are to come later. This has to do with the existing allocations now and the ability to enforce the sewer use law based on the situation we're dealing with in the moment. We're going to be moving as fast as we can to get the additional capacity and expansion built. And then we're going to be working with the county attorney's office, Joe and Rick Golden, and with the other applicable municipalities to try to figure out exactly how that gets disposed.
I asked for this allocation back in September. I think it was gonna be presented a draft allocation in October or November. Now we're in January, and I haven't seen the draft allocation yet.
We can discuss where that stands and get back to you on that. But again, it does not pertain to the sewer use law changes here. Certainly get back to you, maybe the status of the rest of this.
Any other comments? Legislator?
Just a couple points of clarification, because I'm sort of learning this as we go. And very good job explaining. Thank you. So at the start, you mentioned several municipalities that are within the sewer districts. And then
Yes.
you mentioned another series of municipalities that are referred to as contracted users.
out of district users, yes.
So folks that are part of the sewer district, are those municipalities paying into the sewer district via taxes? How is the sewer district funded?
The sewer district is funded in two ways. One is a sewer rent, and one is a special benefit assessment, which is different than the tax. Benefit assessment utilizes a different mechanism in determining the amount paid by each resident or commercial or industrial use. Most users within the geographic boundaries of Orange County Sewer District 1
Mhm.
are residential users.
Right.
So here, currently, there is a unit assessment that is assigned to each residence.
Okay.
And each residence will be assigned one unit. And each warehouse, making things up, may be assigned half a unit or 2 units, or a laundromat may be assigned 6 units. It depends on the usage in terms of, and that's also within the Orange County, the sewer use law. So within the district, the individual users work with the county. I mentioned the municipality simply to demonstrate the geographic boundaries. The outer district, the municipalities that are outside the geographic boundaries, the county has an agreement with those individual municipalities. So
if I'm understanding this correctly, folks that live within the district are measured just by units, not by gallons. And the folks that are outside the district, that contract with the district, are given a gallon allocation.
Within the contract itself, the contract was created in 1978 and was amended in 1988. And within that agreement, there is a specific allocation for each of the 5 municipalities outside the district.
Okay.
Excuse me, but like, for example, the town of Chester has 410,000 gallons a day. The village of Woodbury has a specific allocation. I know they purchased additional allocation after the expansion of the plant in 2006. So each of the municipalities does have a specific allocation. How those outside users bill the individual homes or industrial users or commercial users is outside the district's or the county's control.
Got it.
That would be wholly within their authority.
But as it pertains to the sewer district, it's really just the allocation. And
Yes, sir.
the municipality that's being billed, that's up to them. So,
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
And there are meters in the system that show the actual.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
On the agenda, we have Alan Sorensen, Commissioner of Planning, Stacy Butler, Deputy Commissioner of Planning. The request supplemental appropriation of $4 million for open space. This is proposed capital project number 128 in the 2026 capital plan. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQRA, will be need to be addressed if not previously addressed. This is legislative request 006. The motion. Mr. Faragio, Mr. Cheney, Legislator Cheney.
Thank you. I put together some packets for the newer members of the legislature, just to provide some background in terms of when the open space fund is reestablished in 2024. And so I'll pass those around. There's also included in there at the very end are a few maps kind of showing where the also in the back of the packet is a map showing the open space fund projects that were awarded under the 2024-2025 open space solicitation. And so for this specific request, in the 2026 capital plan, there's a proposed project number 128 that has set aside $4 million to add additional funding into the open space fund. In 2024, the fund was reestablished with $1 million. 2025, an additional $4 million was added, and 2026, the additional $4 million added to that fund. This resolution is required in order to make the funding available for 2026. With this allocation, going into 2026, the open space fund will have a little over $7.5 million available. We can award projects up to 50%. This is for open space acquisition. Could be a conservation easement for purchase of development rights on a farm. That would be one example. Could be acquisition of lands around a public water supply to protect the water quality. It could be the acquisition of municipal parkland. So there's a variety of things that it can be used for. And in many of the cases where we're dealing with the purchase of development rights on a farm, the county's contribution is typically 25%. Because in most cases, the farmer will have obtained a farmland protection implementation grant through New York State Ag and Markets, and the state will provide 75% of the project cost. So this request is to make the funding available so that we have the total of a little over $7.5 million available this year. And one additional advantage for the county is that the state this year has $67 million set aside for the Farmland Protection Implementation Grant. It's the most that it's had available in quite a number of years. So with this funding availability, I think we'll have a really good opportunity to protect a number of farms and create additional parkland in the county. And you know, I had another thought I wanted to inject there, but I kind of slipped my mind, so I'll bring it back to any questions.
Any questions? Legislators? Oh, I'm sorry. Good. Legislator Carter. then-
Hi, I have a question. Do we keep a surplus of money? Why is this number, you said every year it's 4 million? Is that just the number that we use all the time, 4 million?
It is not. That was the request. The initial request was 4 million to set up the fund. And then in 2025, capital plan, we requested 4 million, and we also requested 4 million in 2026. So we will have to come back to the legislature in 2027 capital plan to determine what the funding request will be. Could be less, could be more. With this current round of funding, we're looking at applications being available. We're going to have a notice of funding availability with the April 22nd deadline to coincide with Earth Day. Depending on the number of applications that come in, we'll have a pretty good idea how much funding remains. And what we've been doing each year is we do a spring application and then a fall application. Before the legislature adopts the 2027 capital plan, you'll have a pretty good idea how much funding remains available and if we need to replenish them. You're welcome.
Chairwoman
Thank you.
Patel.
Thank you, Mary. How are you? First, this packet, could you please mail it to Tina so it can be distributed to the other new legislators who are not part of this committee? I appreciate
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And then secondly, how much is left from the 2025 budget? How much was left here in the budget?
In 2025, it's a little over 3.5.
So still 3.5 million that was unaccounted for. And now you're asking for 4 for this year. So budget consensus, would that increase the fund to a total of 7 million because it's a special fund? 7.5 million, or is that money back into the general fund?
It's a capital project.
Okay. So then you would have a total budget for 2020, this current year, of 7.5 million.
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, and do you have, how many projects you currently have in the pipeline and a rough dollar amount for open space?
We have, from 2025, we made 2 awards. And then I won't know the number of applications for 2026 until the applications come in on April 22nd.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Schwartz.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Gwen Archie, Commissioner Chief Information Officer, Information Technology Services. We have Gregory Johnson, Deputy Chief Information Officer, Information Technology Services. The request is to create one contract coordinator position, grade 11, and defund network support specialist position, grade 14. Legislative request 002. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Legislator Sassy and second by Legislator Clark. Welcome.
Okay,
Hello.
hello. Again, I'm Marky Cielo, and I joined with Greg Jones. So this request is for a contract coordinator. It's a grade 11. What we're doing is defunding a grade 14 position, much higher position, network support specialist position, to defund that so we can replace that and get a position that we really need. We really need the positions to help us with contracts. So the value here is we're saving a lot of taxpayer money by doing the defund G14 for G.
Legislator Carter.
What's the current rate for the 13, the one that you're gonna?
Oh, the G14, where that's the one we're defunding.
What is the rate?
It's the grade, it's the actual range.
Yeah, so this is 30.8.
Wayne, you know the range or?
Next week.
Yeah, budget.
Yeah.
I
well,
can,
as
I can
budget.
get back to you.
It's much higher.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on that because when you're saying there's the savings, I guess you're just asking how much of the savings would it be? So I think that's the number she's looking at. Any other questions from you? All in favor?
All right.
All, any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question. All right. Next is Travis Ewald, Commissioner, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. Deanna Crawford, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. Meredith Boyd, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. Do I have a motion to open? Legislators Foden and Legislator Fagin. Okay, so the first one, item A, is request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget for parks equipment. This project has been approved under the 2026 capital plan as proposed project number 122. Upon approval, the new capital project will be created in the amount of $341,769. It will be done with bonding, and this is the legislator request number 385.
So moved.
Legislator Tilly and Legislator Carter. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's say, I'm so, Legislator Sassy and Legislator Carter.
Thank you. This request is for a capital project for equipment for the operation and maintenance and the development of our park system. This specific capital, we're looking to get 3 pieces of equipment. The first one is a F450 mason dump, and that would be replacing one of our existing trucks, which is a 2000 Chevy mason dump. The frame is exceedingly rotted out. The truck is over 26 years old, and we use these type of trucks for a variety of parts use, hauling mulch, topsoil, stone, trailing our equipment. So it's a very necessary piece of equipment. The second one is that we're looking to purchase a bucket truck. We currently have a bucket truck. However, the company that supported the truck went out of business, and the bucket truck is no longer able to be inspected, and we're not able to get the parts and the maintenance that we need on it. So it's out of operation. It's actually been out of operation for the entire last year, which we use our bucket trucks to delimb trees on the Heritage Trail and throughout all of our park system. And then the third piece of equipment in this is a Bobcat E35 excavator. For our Parks Maintenance Division, we have one small excavator, which is about half the size of that, which is, the smaller one is pretty old, but it's very useful for if you have to kind of sneak into a spot to dig up a pipe and not a lot of disturbance. This E35 is still a smaller excavator compared to what Public Works would have, but it would be larger for the parks to help us with constructing new parking lots, trail development. We have areas like the Sugarloaf Mountain where we have those type of activities we need to work on. So that's what this piece of equipment is utilized for.
So the first two would basically, would they be surplus? Or I know like
yes,
we did a truck.
Both of those would be
Buses.
surplus,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
The third one would be a new piece of equipment that we would add to our.
Any other questions?
I'm just help me explain. Will need to bid, so you have a price listed, so it says you have to bid, are you bidding or are you paying the price, you know, that's the dollar amount?
We'll have to bid that out. So we have a quote for it, and we did a cost, and then if you look, we did a 10% contingency on there. Because when we put this in our capital plan, it was, I don't know, 8-9 months ago. So that's to, yeah, absolutely.
Legislator Sassy.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to point out, especially for the new legislators, last term, and I will add a bipartisan move. We took a hard look at our parks. Barry, I think you and I might be the only ones. Anyone else go with us?
Yes.
On the park, did you, no, on the parks. Yeah. And I mean, Orange County has a vast network of parks. Might be worth scheduling a tour for the new members just to see it. You'd be amazed at how much that we have from Newburgh to Warwick and Port Jervis and all over. And we went with Travis and we went with members of parks, and we determined that we really needed a lot of sprucing up. So in a bipartisan move, we added staffing for the Parks Department. And this is a department just like DPW. And we don't, we see in the last snowstorm here, these pieces of equipment are used and just, to have something 26 years old is today unheard of. It just needs replacing. But I think it's all part and parcel to improving our park system for everyone to enjoy. So we did make those moves last term, and I think this would augment that. So.
Especially, I think for the trees. And you
Yeah,
doing this in-house, I
yeah.
think
Oh, yeah.
that's a really
Yeah.
good thing, trying to do it on the outlets.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Just to
Legislator.
clarify, just getting used to the way that the county's wording. So this has been approved in the capital plan, but it's releasing the money, is that correct?
Yes, so earlier in 2025, we have to submit our proposed capital plan. It goes before the county exec's office for review, and then I think in October, it comes to the legislature for review and approval. And that would be for the 26 capital plan. And then throughout 26, departments will come in for the different items that are in their capital plan for approval. So this isn't everything we have, but this is what we have on this request, but these are the first things that this one we have.
Thank you.
Legislator Hunter.
This may be more of a finance question, but is the reason why we're bonding all of these different things?
Can I just help you out? This gives us me the ability to bond. It doesn't mean we will be bonding. It just
Okay.
allows me to bond. We reimburse bonds, so we'll pay for it if we have a surplus or if we have the cash on hand. We'll see what's better, right? If interest rates are better to go out to bonding. That's all done later on, but this resolution just allows me in the future to bond.
Okay, and just curious, so for a purchase of a vehicle like this, do you accrue for the depreciation over time so that then when it comes time that we do need a new vehicle down the road, you have that money accrued for?
Yeah, what do you mean by accrued? I mean, I know what, but you're,
When you have an asset, right, you know, over time, obviously, it's decreasing in value, so you sort of accrue for that, and so you have the money to use for the future. Is that part of the finance, capital plan, kind of, you put that money aside for future use, or?
So when the vehicle is then used and it's surplus, and it's sold at surplus, the surplus is then brought back into the big pot of surplus that is then used to determine whether or not, to your point earlier, going out to bonding or getting
Right.
cash. So that's how we do.
Got it.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Motion next. You're here for a while. Item C, request supplemental, oh, I'm sorry. I already checked up. Request supplemental appropriation for the capital projects budget for a pre-built pesticide building and heater at Stony Ford Golf Course. This project has been approved under the 2026 capital plan as proposed project number 114. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created. This project is a type 2 action as defined in section 617.5 subsection C, number 9 of the 6 NYCRR, which is, I would think, County
New York Code of Rules and Regulations.
Thank you. Rules and regulations, that's a new, regulations, I know mine's town.
Good reading.
Thank you. Part 617, as the statewide secret regulations and therefore not subject to the provision of those regulations. This is 60,000 bonding legislative request number 386.
So moved.
Legislator Sassy, Legislator Sassy.
So this request is for two things. It's for funds to replace heaters in our existing pesticides and other liquid material storage. I wouldn't really call it a building, it's a unit. These things are about the size of a roll-off container or a Connex box. They're insulated and heated inside of there. Our existing one is over 25 years old. Only one of the 4 heaters inside of it currently are functioning. And we typically have $100,000 and $150,000 worth of materials inside of that building. So we're in dire need to get the heaters replaced in that. And then the other part of this capital would be to purchase a second building unit to store additional liquid fertilizers, pesticides, liquid materials that need to be in a special container that can be heated. So these heaters are special, they're explosion proof. There's a lot that goes into them besides just a regular generic heater.
Questions from the legislator?
Thank you. So what is the revenue like with the golf courses?
As far as just approximately how much
Yeah, is it revenue generating? Because throughout my tenure, I have seen quite a bit of requests come through for different, which indicate that there's a lot of upkeep that happens at the golf courses, more so than the rest of our parks. I mean, I know obviously all of our parks are taken care of, but I certainly see a lot more requests for different capital projects, maintenance, et cetera. So curious what the revenue is translating to for all of this investing that we're doing and how that compares to how we're investing in other parks throughout the county.
Certainly. So both of our golf courses obviously generate quite a bit of revenue. This last year, we did a large capital project that was FEMA funded. So our revenue was a little bit down from the previous year because we got a late start. We, in the beginning of the year, we had to open with only doing 9 holes at a time instead of a full 18, which really impacted our revenue. But this last year, do you have those numbers? It was total between both golf courses. It was a little more than $1.9 million. Each golf course is, let's see, Stony Ford was $962,650, and Hickory Hill was $945,868. So
That's just revenue, that's not net.
That's revenue. Yeah, yeah.
Legislator Cheney?
Yeah, as Chair of Physical Services, Parks reports to Physical Services, and I'd be more than happy to take a much deeper dive than what we're able to do here today relative to the costs over. I think we probably want to look at the last 5 years, given the circumstances of last year's improvements that were done that impacted our revenues, just so that we have a decent understanding. And I'm sure Legislator Turnbull will be more than happy to assist in that.
Me and you, Barry.
Thank you.
Yeah, last year we did a just under a $2.5 million capital improvement project that was federally funded under FEMA money. So it was, I don't know, I think it was 100% FEMA funds on that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no county taxation on that.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. On to C, request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget for golf equipment for the Stony Ford Golf Course. This project has been approved under the 2026 capital plan as proposed project number 120. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created in the amount of $177,560 bonding. And this is the legislative request number 87. Do I have a motion? Legislator Sassy, and second. Legislator Adjei.
Thank you.
Sure.
This capital request is for equipment for our golf maintenance, specifically for Stony Ford Golf Course. We are looking to purchase 4 pieces of equipment. The first one is a deep time aerifier. It's basically a 3-point pitch attachment for a tractor, and it has much longer tines that puncture into the ground for aerification of our golf course. This is specifically needed at Stony Ford because the depth to the where the soil transitions to more of a clay hard pan material is pretty shallow, and this will allow our greens to get deeper roots and hopefully not be impacted as much later in the summer seasons with getting kind of burnout on the greens. We're also looking at another piece of equipment that would be used as a top dresser for our greens, and we're also looking to start top dressing our fairways and our tees, which is something they've not done in the past, but we're trying to really improve the quality of the golf course to justify the increased fees that we're going to be charging. And then we're looking to get a Toro Groundmaster, which is considered a side wider. It's a piece of equipment that we use to mow our rough, our tees, our bunkers. It has a deck that slides out to mow over some of the slope areas safely. And then we're looking to get a Greenmaster thatching verticut unit, which is it goes on our greens mower and it removes thatch and those vertical cuts on there. And we have ones that are on our older mowers that are starting to be phased out because they are, they're starting to reach the end of their useful life. And this would go on our newer mowers, which are a hybrid greens mower where it's a hydraulic driven, but all of the mowing part is electrical.
Legislator Tobin.
Quick question. You mentioned fees. Do we offer discounts to seniors or students?
We have a senior discount, and there are discounts through the schools that come.
But like say, 11th grade.
Yes, we have junior fees.
Veterans.
Veterans, yes.
Legislator Carter.
What's top dresser?
So basically that it has a conveyor that spreads sand out. So after they'll do aerification, they'll on the greens or the other areas, they'll put a layer of sand down to it can level it, but it also helps with the soil condition. They'll fill in those holes that they pulled out when they're to maintenance on the different parts of the golf course.
So you need this if you get the air filter, because that's going to be.
We actually, sorry, we have a unit that they use right now. It's a tow behind, and you have to realize that the golf course is sloped all over the place, and it is very difficult to use. It ends up sliding down the slopes. It's not the safest piece of equipment to be utilizing. They'd like to decommission that and get something. This is a unit that is, one combined unit that can drive around and spread the sand around.
And how long have you been using this unit? Right.
I honestly don't know. I can find out for you.
It's demonstrated to me, you have a lot of equipment since 2001, and, I do see making an investment, and I do think, I agree with Legislator Cheney about, we can revisit fees and all those things, but in order to have people come, we have to make the investment. Chairwoman Tortel.
Thank you. Do you have a breakdown on these pieces of equipment like you did on the previous request that you can provide further? Okay, there wasn't a, that's my,
Should be.
thank you.
Just-
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Thought you wanted
a comment.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, to your point, you look at these and the numbers are high, to Legislator Ramos's point. As a golfer, I know Barry's a golfer, Matt, you're a golfer, Mr. Golden is a golfer. Mr. Golden ends up in the sand a lot, so we had to change that at some point. But as a golfer, if you know that for non-golfers, just an explanation, as Virginia had mentioned, if the course is not maintained, people won't come. And our courses have always been nice and attractive. People come from New Jersey, Connecticut, correct? They come from all over. And they pay a higher fee when they're out of state. An in-county rate is less. So when Commissioner Ewald took over again with the parks and everything, it's been a long time to bring this back up to par. And we've talked about this in the last term as well, about bumping up the rates a little bit. It is a public course. You don't want to make it prohibitive for people to afford to play it, but it's extremely affordable to play today for seniors, for the youth. But they have bumped it up a little bit each year just to kind of keep up with our expenses. So.
And we actually, this year, we have to bump it up again a bit more because our golf cart lease is up. And we went and looked at rebidding the golf cart lease a couple of years ago, and the cost almost doubled. We stayed with the older carts we had, but this is the end of it. So this year, we know that cost is going to go up pretty significantly. So we have to, pass some of that along. So we have to make sure that our courses are in the best shape we can so that we do get the attendance there to bring them regular meeting.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget for golf equipment at Hickory Hill Golf Course. This project has been approved under the 2026 capital plan as proposed project number 121. Upon approval, a new capital project will be created in the amount of $128,126, again, subject to bonding. This is the legislative request number 388.
So moved.
Second.
Legislator Cheney, Legislator Sassy.
So this is a capital request for equipment at Hickory Hill Golf Course. There's 3 pieces of equipment that we're looking for in this request. The first one is a Toro Greensmaster Triflex hybrid. This is a greens mower. These go out every day for mowing, and we have about 6 at each golf course. And our goal is to come in and purchase one of these each year, alternating between which golf course it goes to, so that each of our greens mowers is 12 years old or newer, because they get a lot of hours on them, a lot of utilization. The second thing is a Kubota tractor, where this will be replacing a 2002 Kubota tractor that is undersized to run the majority of the implements that we have now. We have one other Kubota tractor that's similar size to the one that we're asking for. The reason we're asking for the second one is so that we can have two tractors to run multiple implements simultaneously so that we could be aerating and doing the fertilizer or doing, the PTO driven mowers or, the seeders or whatever it is that we're using so that we'll get more efficient, maintenance instead of having one tractor going out and switching implements and get two running at the same time. And the last thing is for a 3-point hitch attachment. It's a blade that they can use for smoothing out soil. And also during the winter, we can use it for snow pushing maintenance.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, last one, the request to authorize the county executive in conjunction with the Orange County Department of Parks, Recreation and Conservation to submit an application to the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation, New York State OPR HP for the Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program in the amount not to exceed $900,000. The source of funds is the state grant funds through the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act of 2022. A local match of 10% is required and will come from the combination of cash and or in-kind resources. If awarded, grant funds will be used for improvements at Quantimer Hill Park, including upgrading restrooms and playground to comply with ADA requirements. This is a secret type 2 action. No further environmental review is required. This is legislative grant request 003.
So moved.
Legislator Ramos, legislator Sassy seconds.
This request is to authorize us to submit a grant application for a grant for Crowder Hill Park. We've been working in conjunction with the planning department, putting this grant application together. We did one similar last year, or the year before, for Crowder Hill Tower repairs, where we were able to get over $1 million grant for that project. This is a similar project. We're looking to replace the existing restrooms that are at Crowder Hill that are in pretty rough shape, put in new ADA compliant restrooms, and put in a larger ADA playground area at Crowder Hill Park. This grant would be 90% state funding, and only 10% would have to come from local share.
Any questions?
Just a comment, once again, another great park, and we toured it in desperate need of upgrading, things like that, and it's great that we have the state involved in this as well, so much needed in that park.
It's really what.
It's a great park, yeah.
Legislator Ramos.
So, to legislator Sassy's point, I'm biased, this is in my district. So I obviously hope we get the funding, but agreed that there are definitely some need for improvements and repairs at the park. So, and that was really my point. I just want to make sure that we're equitably investing and, committing ourselves to bringing our parks up to a certain standard so that everyone can enjoy them. So thank you for this, and hopefully we get it.
No, it's heavily used. You're right. I see.
It's a great park, yeah.
Legislator Hunter?
Can you give an update on the project for the tower? You know, there's some folks that have been asking me about that.
So we are working through the
execution of the contract with the state. There's many points that have to be done and things that we have to accumulate to submit to the state. So we're currently working through all of those items.
So those are in order to start the construction?
No, but even before we can go to procurement for a consultant, we need to have this contract in place because it won't cover it won't reimburse any of our expenses until that's in place. And there's certain things that they are requiring from us that we have to get to them. One of them that may delay it is the current survey that we have. They want more information on it, so we're working through that. We have a handful of other requests that they have before we get that contract executed. Once that's executed, we have to get a consultant on board, we have to design it, and then we have to go out to bid, get a contract with contractors, and then do the construction. I'm anticipating that the contract with the state and the procurement for consultant design process is going to take us through pretty much the end of this year before we can move into construction.
So we're looking at 27 before anyone can really use it.
Unfortunately, I think so. I mean, that's, when we get these grants, it's great because it helps, soften the blow of the expense of it, but it does take more time.
Does it take longer?
Yes, it does.
So are you anticipating similar situation with the bathrooms and the playground and all that?
We are, unfortunately, it's going to be, we put the grant application in, there'll be a period of time before we hear if we get it. And then once it is announced to the board, you have to wait for the state to come back and do their legwork to get you the contract and work through that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement with certain Orange County municipalities, providing for the exemption from county taxation of lands owned and used by them for water supply and related purposes pursuant to section 406 subsection 3 of real property tax law. The motion?
Is there no legislative request on that?
Yeah.
It's just annual?
Oh, yes, it's, right.
Yeah. Where's the number? Is all in favor?
I know as a local official, this is something that's done annually, any water infrastructure. They can apply for a county exemption because they're providing, water through the municipalities.
But I don't think there's anything needed in this week.
Okay.
I think you summed it up very well.
Thank you.
Good. Next.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I don't want your job, Mr. Goldman.
A motion and a second?
So moved.
Mr. Sassy, and second,
I'll make that.
Mr. Fagiano. I thought I did. I apologize. Okay. All right, so next, we have Paul Wiley, Director, Real Property Tax Service. Patricia Masterson, Assistant Director, Real Property Tax Service. This is a request to authorize an easement across county-owned property for a proposed underground telecommunications service along Rosewood Lane for a new 4-lot residential subdivision. The county-owned property is Town of Cornwall, Section 29, Block 1, Lot 2, which is the northeastern end of the future Scunnamunk Rail Trail. The developers of the subdivision donated a 2.39 acre parcel to the county last year as part of the approval process, accepted by the county resolution number 185 of 2024. The easement will run along the westerly side of the proposed Rosewood Lane and follows the same path for the underground electric easement that the county approved for Central Hudson on October 2nd, 2025, per resolution number 254 of 2025. It also does not appear that there will be an impact on the proposed trail or parking. This is legislative request number 380. A motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Fagione, legislator Carter. Second.
Question. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's able.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Paul. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was just gonna introduce ourselves. I'm
Yes.
Paul Wiley, Director of Real Property. This is Tricia Masterson, the Assistant Director. Real property is one of those odd things that a lot of people might not understand what we do. So what I wanted to do was just briefly introduce us, and I want to give you guys all my card with my cell phone number on it. A lot of what we do is kind of obscure, even amongst the laws of New York. We have our own subset of weird laws, the real property tax law. we have our own calendar, we have our own language. And so a lot of this stuff might come up at any time that may or may not make it to a committee, but you may get a lot of requests from your constituents asking questions about real property or about their taxes or other questions. If you have a doubt that it may or may not be my department, it probably is. So therefore, please feel free to give us a call at any time because some of these things can take a little while to explain. So I'm just going to hand out my my cards. Again, yeah, there you go. Go that way, go that way. Thank you. Okay, so this request has to do with an easement that is actually going to go in the exact same footprint of an easement for electricity that was approved back in October. At the time, it was just for the power company asking for the utility to go through and did not include the telecommunications line. So what we're asking for is just an additional agreement to allow that easement to also be used for basically for cable for this new subdivision that's going to go. With the road that's going through across the Scunnamunk Trail, which we are working on developing right now. And this is just an underground easement. Again, it's just going to allow a cable line to go next to the electric line for the subdivision.
Legislator Sassy.
Well, just a question. I know Mr. Golden is in the back there too. It's kind of uncomfortable with the language. It also does not appear that it's going to have an impact. I mean, I'd rather say it will not.
I probably said it will not back in October. So when we did the first one, it does not appear that it will affect the parking. So in this case, because we are now asking for a second resolution for the same easement, it also is not going to be affecting the parking at all. Originally, the way they wanted to run the easement was on the east side of this proposed road, which would actually have possibly gotten in the way of where this proposed parking is for the Scunnamunk Trail. We asked them to move it over to the other side, and that basically means that everything's going to be on the west side, the parking's on the east side. There should not be any problems with the parking. So this follows that same path and footprint for the easement, so it also should not bother the parking.
Okay, hope not. Yeah.
You're right. That got a little wishy-washy.
Yeah, yeah.
The extra also.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, Legislator Hunter.
So this is a new development, as I understand. The road is new and it leads to 4 houses. Is
Correct.
that correct?
4 lots, yes.
4 lots that are in the process of
They
being
are
built.
under construction.
Jenny's,
Yes.
and with this, the new Scunnamunk Trail project sort of starting to take on and moving along, we went to the hearing the other day. Just want to make sure there's consideration for, making sure that the crossings are going to be wide enough and the barriers and all of that. I know we're providing this easement, but, as it stands now, there's no use of the trail as recreation, but in the future, there will be.
Correct. And when that subdivision was approved, part of that approval process was laying out the road, how it was going to be wide enough, the bollards that would be in place to protect the trail. And again, the developers, when they were trying to get the approval, gratuitously gave us 2.39 acres up front so that we could have parking. So we got to dictate the terms of the way the road was going to go. And that's why this is an underground easement as opposed to allowing above.
So all that's
above
been
ground
built
already.
into this project. Terrific,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Have we
Legislator
designed
Cheney?
parking yet?
No, we have not, as a matter of fact. We're still a little ways away from that. I think we need to get into the design of the trail itself because of where the everything from drainage to the width of the trail to how we're going to be doing it. It's going to kind of dictate what we do with the park.
And it doesn't appear to me, unless I'm not seeing it, that the actual the 2.39 acres given to the county is shown on this particular map.
You can't see the whole thing, but if you look down under parcel A on the right-hand side, where that parcel A is, that's our part. You see the 2.39 acres near the bottom of that description.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Next, we have Carrie Gallagher, she's Commissioner of Finance, Andrea Buchanan, Deputy Commissioner of Finance, Colleen Harris, Deputy Commissioner of Finance. First, we have a request to authorize the county executive of Orange County to sign the renewal sales tax sharing agreement with the cities of Newburgh, Middletown, and Port Jervis. Legislative request 004. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Fagiano? Mr. Sassy, second?
So good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to introduce my deputy. So this is Colleen Harris to my right and Andrea Concanon to my left. First of all, welcome to all the new legislators and to all the seasoned legislators, welcome back. Chairwoman Scott, thank you again for taking the time to meet with us the other day. It was very informative both ways, so we appreciate that. And we welcome any other legislators that have questions for what we do in the finance department. This first item is just, we went to rules the other day. It's just authorizing the county exec to enter into contract with the 3 cities.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so now we're going to ask for a sales tax update.
Sure, so
Motion. Joining legislator
Second.
Reynolds. Legislator Sassy.
Sure, so just for the new legislatures, what happens is the budget director that's sitting behind me, she is the woman that projects the sales tax revenue for the year.
Why is she blushing?
We just come and report on the actual money that hits the accounts, okay? So again, we report whether or not we're over or under plan. So the good news is for the last 3 consecutive payments, we were actually over plan. But some people like to say that I'm always a downer. So the bad news is that the grand total, we're still about $5.6 million under projection. 5.9, excuse me. Thank you for that clarification, which is about 2.09% under plan
For 2025?
for 2025. Yes. As you just spoke about, we just released this week the municipalities checks. So they are very grateful at this point. It's the 4th and final payment that will be released for the year. You know, again, sales tax is a lagging indicator. So when we're reporting to you on the numbers, it's about from a 2-month time period back, right? So this is a great start that in early November, the stores went hard for the holiday seasons, and we're seeing that in our receipts. So it was the positive.
Oh, I'm sorry, legislator Tilden. I didn't see.
And I've always heard that, you know, the commons are a big driver of sales tax. What are like the biggest drivers of sales tax? Legal and making up a big part?
Sure, so I can tell you that Orange County is, retail is our top producer for our sales tax, where most other counties, I can get the exact number, is car sales. But retail is where we thrive. And again, if you're a good guesstimate, you can tell that it's from the comments, excuse me.
Is legal like a big major? How much?
So I can't disclose
Oh, okay.
exactly that information, but
Tourism.
what I can tell you that it does boost tourism, which then again affects the bottom number. But I can give vague, again, that retail is our highest producing for the county.
I was gonna say Amazon. And I've asked before, I know I've asked our auditors, do we break down, because every time I see an Amazon truck go by, I know there's sales tax revenue there. And they go all day long, all over. Do we break that down
So,
separately, like online sales, what we generate?
so yeah, we can do a deep dive and break that down. But again, those Amazon trucks are also contributing to sales tax because they're filling up. I
Right?
mean, I personally don't want to go where my municipality around 8:35 because that's when every FedEx, Amex truck
Yeah.
is filling up at that same point. So we could break that down.
And but we're collecting sales tax from Amazon.
Yeah, when you
It-
purchase, if you purchase
Yeah.
in Orange County, you're paying the tax in Orange County.
Is there ever an audit on Amazon to make sure that we are getting what we're due? Is there anything through the state or through the feds?
So we can do an internal audit on that. And then we can also request we can do an internal audit on that.
I mean, they're collecting it. I just want to make sure we're getting it.
Sure.
Legislator Hunter.
Just sort of broad strokes, you know, the tax revenue that comes in from a purchase in a store and where the percentage of that money, where does it go? So I know some goes to the state, some to the county, then it makes its way back to the municipality, like just broad strokes kind of how.
Sure, so I have a little cheat sheet that I'll be happy to share with you. Yeah. So I don't have enough copies, I apologize, but I'll forward that on after this meeting.
Great, thank you.
You didn't tell me the question before, by the way, I just.
No, I sort of curious because, you know, I know that, like, say, Woodbury, for example, I, you know, anecdotally heard that they get frustrated that they, you know, don't necessarily get back.
Everything that they're putting in.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a shared agreement, so it's one pool of money based on the census population is how we're breaking it out, so to your point.
So it's sort of by census, not by
So, yeah, so
where
we
it's
distribute.
coming from.
Yeah, so it's all pooled together and the census determines how we're paying out to the municipalities based on the recent sales tax agreement that we signed under this legislature and approved by the state.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, legislator, I'm sorry, chairperson, Tautel, I'll get used to this.
Could you please distribute that to Jean so she can distribute it to all 21 legislators? Sure. Refresh the seasoned ones and let all the legislators know what the breakdown is?
Of course.
Thank you.
Happy to do so.
Thank you.
You said season, not season.
I said season.
Case by case.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
And again, we have an open door policy, so any questions?
Well, thank you for your update, and again, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, we appreciate that. Have a good evening. Stay warm.
Okay, all right. Last but certainly not least on our agenda, we have Deborah Blazinski, Budget Director, Dina Sena, Deputy Budget Director, and they are here today to give us a budget update. So I have a motion. That's Legislator Fabian. Second, Legislator Sassy.
Okay, so I'm Deborah Skolzinski, this is Dina Sena. Okay, what you're seeing reflects general fund only. Based on a point in time snapshot is about January 21st. We are actively working on closing the 2025 budget, so the figures are not final. As shown, revenues are currently down. Okay, so it's probably about $100 million. Largely that's because accruals have not been posted yet. State aid is a deficit of 53.7 million. That's based on education of handicapped children, 13.4 million, mental health, 22.9 million, and DSS is 19.2 million. Federal aid is about 23 million in a deficit. Okay, that's based on DSS $17 million, and other transportation is 6.0 million, and that's basically because we are going to put in our grant fund. Okay, other revenues are decreasing at 3.8 million, driven by sales tax. Repayment of medical assistance, 1.7 million, and interfund revenues, 13.6 million. Interest and earnings are up by $4 million. Okay, all right. All right. The next one is turning to expenses. Overall, actual expenditures are down approximately $52.7 million. As noted earlier, accruals are not reported yet. In addition, encumbrances currently total $57 million. All right, so we are receiving invoices, and once all invoices are processed, we're going to remain and we're going to close the POs. Personal services and employees are a net increase of 2.2 million, primarily due to contractual obligations and higher employee benefits. Equipment and contractual expenses are down $65 million, primarily reflecting the timing of payments, open encumbrances, and accruals that will be recorded as finalized. And transfers are approximately 10.6 million. reflecting an increase. This will be primarily to capital projects, the goal of reducing future bonding and increasing properties acquired by the county.
Legislator Tobin?
Sorry, I wish I took a county when I was in school. I just the column, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Real basic. The budget, I understand that. Modified with carryover, that's the money that we're getting later on.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's the resolution.
Encumbrances, what's the?
So it's basically a PO. So if you have a contract, we have to encumber a PO.
Okay,
So that's it.
You're setting money aside for a specific
Right.
purpose.
All right, so actual, that I understand, modified actual is that including the modified carryover?
Yes, it is. It's
Oh,
the
so that's
modified
what you're-
carryover.
That's just a percentage.
Okay.
And then I just question, I know going backwards here. The budget, the appropriated surplus that was taken from the surplus to add to the budget?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time. Okay. So can I have, you didn't get that one?
No hesitation.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay. Legislator Tobin, Legislator Keenan. Thank you all and good day.
Fine job.
Thank you, Eric, for that.